Hello, all. My name is Abigail Guadagnola, and in this documentary, we are going to be taking a look at pedagogy. We're going to define what pedagogy is, what are the best pedagogical techniques, and what does an expert in the field have to say about it. Before we jump into defining pedagogy, I just want to introduce you to our expert for today. I reached out to my high school Algebra 2 teacher, Sean Conway, and he very graciously agreed to assist me in this project and in my endeavor to take on the subject of pedagogy. Quick background on Conway. On January 27th, 2017, he was awarded Teacher of the Year, and that was chosen by both students and staff. And he was awarded that for his amazing work in the school. He has touched the lives of innumerable students and pushed them to be better learners and better people, and anyone who sits in his classroom can see his expertise in it. So now that we've met Conway, let's talk about what pedagogy is. Pedagogy, at the risk of sounding cliche, is, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the art, science, or profession of teaching. And to put it in simpler terms, basically pedagogy is just how do you get the knowledge that you have to another person. And it's the techniques and the finesse behind that, as it were. So the five areas of pedagogy that we're going to be examining today is going to be note-taking, questioning, student learning reflection, problem-based learning, and the model method, or this can also be known as the I do, we do, you do method. So perhaps the most obvious of the five techniques is going to be that note-taking piece. And there are numerous ways to take notes, and the effectiveness of those ways to take notes is going to vary student to student. So why don't we quick take a look at the way Conway uses notes in his classroom.
I spend a good chunk of time first semester talking about what it means to take good notes and what they're even for and what the use is. And a common phrase I say in my class quite a bit is what's the point of taking notes if you're not going to use them? It's your resource. It's you trying to take my words and what I'm putting on the board and putting it on paper so that you have something of my voice, when you're working through the homework and studying.
Note-taking and by extension summarization have the potential to accelerate student achievement or even considerably accelerate that. So it's not something we can skip over. And just kind of like Conway said, there are opportunities for students to grow so much, and it really is your teacher's voice in your head as you are studying and reviewing. A couple ways to take notes and have your students take notes is going to be the Cornell method, where you have your notes and you have your cues for when you're going back and studying so you can quickly find things, and then a summary down at the bottom. Another way is going to be the column note-taking style, and that is you write the subject and then you write your subpoints underneath that. Another popular style is going to be the teacher provided notes, and those are just, those are really great if you have a big lecture and a lot of material and content in it, and you just want to have those few things that you want your students to take away. It's going to be great. Next up is questioning, and according to the Visible Learning Program, questions have the potential to accelerate student learning. This technique can be done in numerous ways. As a class progresses, students can be asking the teacher questions because pedagogy goes both ways. We have so much we can learn from our students. In addition to students asking questions, teachers can ask students about the prior knowledge that they have on a particular subject matter. Another thing is during individual work time, a teacher can utilize the technique of questioning by asking leading questions to assist students to get back on task.
The kids still need the one-on-one. I think that's very important in math. And so when I put problems up on the board for them to try to work through and everything like that, I'll kind of circulate through the room and just watch. And sometimes it's something as simple as, asking the question, hey, should that be that sign? Or sometimes if it's a kid who I know is really struggling, I'll kind of sit down and we'll kind of talk through a problem. But that's my way of getting kind of that one-on-one time that a lot of other teachers do with some of these other pedagogical techniques. For me, it's just sometimes a kid needs to know that you kind of you see them and that they're struggling and you can get down and help them there.
So overall, questioning can help fuel curiosity, foster development, assess understanding, and guide discussion. Moving on, another pedagogical method that produces a greater amount of learning is that student learning reflection. And this can take on multiple forms, from something as simple as an exit ticket, asking students how they feel they performed in class, to a one-on-one conversations where students can communicate their needs and expectations. And this is extremely powerful, even if it doesn't quite seem like pedagogy, because by having a student communicate their expectations, their expectations for themselves as well as the class, a teacher can then push that student to meet those expectations and even exceed them. And by having a student exceed their own expectations, this generates so much confidence. Up next, we have the problem solving or problem-based learning.
As I've gotten a little further in my career, especially if I feel like maybe the class is not 100% engaged, I'll throw a mistake on the board on purpose and see if anyone catches me. And sometimes I'll throw like something innocuous in the middle of a question, get all the way to the end, and just sit there and stare at it. You probably remember me doing this. And then just stare at it and be like, we're good, circle it, call it a day, move on. And then 3/4 of the class is nodding their head, and then a couple kids are looking at it and staring at it, but not enough confidence to actually say anything. And then you have the one kid who always is like, isn't that 4, not 5? Yeah, it is. And then you look at the rest of the class, and so that whole mistake analysis, error analysis, I think is really important.
With this particular technique, students are forced to recall the concept they just learned in full so as to pinpoint the error in the equation, formula, sentence, statement. And this type of pedagogy serves to build concept meaning and really create that full concept attainment. So the final technique that we're going to be examining today is the strategy of modeling. And simply put, this is I do, we do, you do.
I would say if I use a strategy that I learned back in college to teach, it's the good old I do, we do, you do, which is basically a fancy way of saying, hey, here's an example. I'm going to do one. We do one together. Now you try this one, and then I kind of circulate the room.
So again, just to reiterate, the essence of this practice is that it is a slow progression of knowledge, and a student can gradually get a grasp on the concept being taught, and it is essentially like learning to walk, but in terms of knowledge acquisition. To wrap this all up, we've discussed what pedagogy is, the art and science of teaching. We've talked about 5 effective and easy pedagogical techniques to implement in your classroom: note-taking, questioning, student reflection, problem solving, and modeling. And we've also seen a little bit of how these strategies can really practically be applied in the classroom. I think not just anyone can do this job and do it well. It is incredibly hard work, and it has very high risk, but it has an even higher reward, and that is so worth it.
Today, live like I wanna. Let yesterday burn and go within a fire, in a fire, in a fire. Fight like a warrior. Today, live like I wanna.
You're going to have to edit the crap out of this.
Yeah.
See, we were talking about Jigsaw a second ago. Before this started.
Are you not going to look at it at all?
No. God, I hate being recorded so much. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The only use of this.
It's only for my documentary, and
then
I will
it'll be
take it off
destroyed
of
afterwards.
YouTube.
Yes.
I
Make it
might make a
unsearchable
GIF.
on YouTube too. No gifs. No gifs. I will forever stop responding to any contact with
I
you
won't do it.
if you do anything that you know would upset me. with
I would
this.
not. I actually...
You just made a joke about it.
A joke. Emphasis.
Truth in every joke. There we
Joke.
go.
Shut
Okay.
up, Katie Cooper.